Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make the synths from In My Mind, the Axwell edit. It's a very popular song. It was the uh, festival season song of last year, and a lot of songs ever since that have come out have had this sound. So this is the sound you're going to be hearing at the end. Alright, so to get started here, I'm going to start you with this synth here. This is the lead you hear before the main chorus comes in. This one is very simple, so let's get going here. Let's go ahead and pull up the Sylenth, and then once you have that ready, go ahead and initialize the preset. Let's see here. So as you can already hear, the preset is already really close to what the actual synth is. The only thing you have to do here is turn it up to 2 voices just to make it a little louder. And then, let's see here. And then you want to take, this synth uses a low pass. So go ahead and take the input select on the filter A and turn it on to go to AB. And then do the filter type to low pass. What this does is you can hear here, what that does is you can do this cool effect where you kind of do this. So yeah, that's pretty much just what it is. It's just a typical technique used by a lot of producers. Just take the cutoff and start it low and rise it up, and that's a cool way to get people excited. So yeah, so we're done with that one. Moving on to the next. Let's see here. It's going to be this guy. So this one, once again, go ahead and pull up Sylenth here. This one is basically just a typical saw wave, or yeah, just a regular saw synth. Used a lot in trance, used a lot in house. So yeah, getting going here. In oscillator A1, you are going to make it a saw wave if it already isn't. It's going to be 8 voices, as in it's going to be a pretty loud part of the synth. You're going to put the octave up 1, so plus 1 on the octave. Then the detune, you want to take it up to about 4.3. That's the detune once again, up to 4.3. Then the stereo, you're going to pull down to about 6.2. What stereo is the kind of width the sound has. It's just kind of, if you pull it down, then it's not as wide and it's not as present as some of the other stuff might be here. So then the pan, you want to pull down to negative 2.4 or so. It doesn't have to be exact, just around there. And then you have to make sure that the retrig is turned off on this one. And then the fine tuning on the very left here, you want to pull down to negative 18. And you should have this so far. As you can already tell, it's already sounding pretty close to the sound you want. But just moving on here, just going to make it more professional sounding. So in the amp in the middle here, we're gonna pull the release up to 1, so not very much. Just around 1's fine. That's good. And then an oscillator A2 over here on the right. It's going to be a +1 octave as well. The fine tuning, I'm going to pull up to +25. What the fine tuning is doing is it's just kind of, it's almost acting like a detune, but it's kind of just making the two oscillators clash against each other to make a cool sound here. So this one's going to be 8 voices, and it is going to be a sawtooth. Let's see here, and then turn the retrig button off. Then the detune, you want to pull up to 4.3 as well, just like the other one, so they're matching. Once again, if they're just pretty close, then you'll be fine. There we go. And then the pan, you want to do to +2.8. What the pan is it's basically turning the synth to one specific side of the headphones or the stereo. If it's a mono, then it'll be one channel, but pan means that it's a 2-channel, and it'll send all the sound to the right side or all the sound to the left side, and you can kind of change how much you want each part to be on each side. So that's what this is doing, is making this oscillator on the right side of the headphones a little more on the right side, and this one a little more on the left. So let's see, moving on here, go ahead and go to part B of the Sylenth. You're going to go to oscillator B1 on the left side here. It's going to be a +1. It's going to be a saw again as well. Let's see, the fine tuning, you want to pull down to -0.06, -0.06. It's just very slight. You want to pull it up to 4 voices. You want it to be half as loud as the other synths on part A. And then, let's see here. Let's turn the retrig off. And then B1, okay, so stereo, okay, there we go. Stereo, you want to pull it down to halfway, so just around 5 is fine. And then the detune, you want to pull up to halfway. And that's that, it looks like. And this is what you should have so far. Okay, now in the amp B, envelope B in the middle here, you're going to pull the attack up to 0.4, so about right there. And then the release on the very right, the R, you want to pull up to 0.8. So just not very much. It's just a slight release. And what the release is doing is just kind of, if you turn the release all the way off, it's going to cut the sound off immediately. But if you, like for instance here, you can hear it takes a little while to release, but this is just making it so it's not just a complete stop at the end of it. Alright, and then oscillator B2, take the octave and pull it up to +1. It's going to be a saw wave as well. And then the fine tuning, you're going to turn up to +0.06, so very, very little. Just a slight amount, and then you're going to pull the voices up to 4. Turn the retrig button off. And then the phase on this one, you want to turn just above half, so around 190 degrees. This is just kind of starting this oscillator in a certain place to give it a different sound. So the phasing is a little complicated to explain in in a short time, so I'd have to go into detail about that. But let's see. Then the detune, you want to pull to half, just like oscillator A1, and this is what you should have so far. All right, and that's it for that. And then you're going to go to the EQ, so go ahead and go to EQ and turn that sucker on. It's going to be a 1 pole. The bass you want to keep where it is at half. Bass frequency you want to turn it all the way up. The treble you want to turn to just below 3/4, so around 11.6 or so. And then the treble frequency on the very right you want to do just above the very, so you go all the way to the very bottom, you want to pull it up to like the first notch, so like I have 558 hertz. So this is what you should have with that. Okay. And then the reverb, go ahead and grab that and turn it on. Let's see, it's going to be the size you want to pull down to about 7, so a little less than it starts off with. The pre-delay you want to pull down to 78 or so. So I have 78.1. And then the damp you want to pull up to 2.8 or so. And then the width should be all the way up, but if it's not, pull it all the way up. And the dry wet you want to pull down to 35% or so. So this is what you should have with it. Okay. And if it is a little too loud in your mix, don't be afraid to pull the main volume down or anything like that. So, all right, so we're finished with that one. Okay. Now moving on to the last one here. This is our bass. This is what it's going to sound like here. All right. So, getting into this guy, go ahead and pull up a Sylenth once again, initialize the preset. And what we're going to do is an oscillator A1. It's going to be -2 octave, so pull it down. This is going to make it bassy. So yeah, pull it down to -2. It's going to be a saw wave. Oh, sorry, it's going to be a square wave. Okay, so it's going to be square wave once again. 2 voices on this one. Turn the reach rig button off. The volume you want to pull down to about 3/4 of the way there, so around like 8.3 or whatever. That's pretty close. That's the 2 oscillators here. I just want them to be quieter than the rest of it. But adding 1 voice just sounds a little weird, so adding 2 voices and pulling down the volume is going to make it the way I want it to be. Okay, and then the detune you want to pull up to about 1/4 way. That'll be about 1.7. And then the stereo, you want to pull down to about 3/4 of the way down, or 3/4 of the way all the way up, so about 8.3. And then that's it for A1. The amp, you want the attack to be all the way down. The decay to be up to 4.5. It's about there. That's fine. And then sustain should be all the way up, and then the release you want to pull up to about 1.7 or so. It should be close. It's fine. And then that's it for the oscillators here. But in the filter A over here, you want to do input select AB in the little tiny light ring box. And then the filter type you want to be a low pass, so just a little downward hill. The cutoff you want to pull all the way up. I'm not going to say that number, but you have to just pull the cutoff all the way up, as you can already see there. The resonance you want to pull up a couple notches, so about 1 or like 95 or something. That's what I have it at. And the drive you want to pull it up to about 1/4 way. So about 1.7, and this is what you should have right now. Okay. Now go into part B. Go into oscillator B1. It's going to be a -1. It's going to be a saw wave. The fine tuning you want to pull down to -0.04, so very, very slight. Turn the retrig button off, and then pull the voices up to 2. Let's see here. Take the detune, pull it up to about 1/4, and then the pan you want to take to -1.8. Or so. It doesn't matter if it's pretty close or fine. In the amp B, you want to pull the release up to 3.3. Okay, and then in oscillator B2, pull it down to -2 octave. It's a saw wave. It's going to be 2 voices. The detune you're going to pull, turn the retrig button off. The detune, pull it to just about, or just about 1/4 way, so 1.8. Stereo, I'm going to pull just above 3/4 of the way there, so about 8.6. And then the pan, you want to pull the positive 1.8. All right. And then the fine tuning, you want to pull up to positive 0.04. All right. Now go to the filter B, turn it all the way off. So just you can just pull all the way up. This is just making it so there's no filter whatsoever in there. And then the ARP, you want to turn on the arpeggiator. This will give it kind of like the plucky bass sort of sound. It'll make it so you don't have to play a bunch of notes. It'll just do it for you. So turn that on. It should be on 1 octave and it should be on up. It doesn't really matter with this because it's 1 note. But the gate, pull up to about 90%. And then what this does is the gate, it basically controls how much of the sound comes through for each note. So like if I pull it all the way down, it'll go. So what this does is it just kind of gives it a slight little pause in between each note to kind of make it sound like you're plucking a bass or something like that. All right, EQ, go ahead and turn that on. The bass, you're going to put it halfway. Bass frequency, you want to pull it to just below 3/4 of the way there, so about 340. The treble, it should be at half, and the treble frequency should be about half as well. So that's it for that. And it should be a 1 pole once again. The modulation envelope here at the bottom, this is going to be the kind of give it like the plucky sound. Go in the little green box on the right, go to cut off, or cut off AB. You're going to pull this up to 1.2. You pull the little knob next to cut off AB to 1.2. Take the decay, pull it up to 1.7. And then the release, we'll pull it to 1.5 or so. And then this is what you'd have. All right, and this might not be mixed or whatever, but this is what you should sound like at the end here. Oh, hold on. Just kind of as an afterthought, you probably heard that the little pitch bend at the end there doesn't sound right. If you want all of the, if you're going in and controlling the pitch bends and you want it to have that kind of like drop-off sound that the song has in the original, then go to all of your Sylenths and over down here on the bottom left, there's the pitch bend range. Pull those up to 12. This will make it an octave, so it goes, when you bend it, if you pull it all the way down, it'll go down an octave. If you pull all the way up, it'll go up an octave. So that's a good way to give it kind of like the downshift sound. So yeah, that's how you do it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a little tedious sometimes, but this is what you have to do if you want to make good sounding music. So feel free to subscribe to me on YouTube, and go check me out on SoundCloud. I've got some really cool songs coming out here. I'm super excited about Time Switch, the one I just released here. You can see it on my YouTube channel or just on SoundCloud. And then feel free to go like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and stuff if you like to. I'm not on Twitter that much, but you can if you want. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and keep sending those requests. I'm gonna kind of whittle it down to certain things now because I'm getting a lot of requests now since I'm getting more popular, obviously. So yeah, thanks you guys for watching, and hope to see you next time.